So who is Napoleon Bonaparte?
Napoleon Bonaparte, one of history's most notorious tyrants. Is this quatrain proof that the Emperor of France was the first Antichrist prophesied?
It seems that most people view Napoleon as an evil, warmongering tyrant, something which is just not true. So why does the world hold such a negative view of Napoleon? Well, the popular misconception of Napoleon can be traced back to the large amount of British propaganda printed during the Napoleonic Wars. And with English eventually becoming the dominant language of the 20th century media, the view spread rapidly around the world. One reason why the traditional view of Napoleon is wrong is his untyrannical nature. Napoleon created a civil code which guaranteed civil rights and equality before the law for all his citizens. The Napoleonic Code would spread throughout Europe and the world and instill the base for many legal systems today. Napoleon saw the civil code as his greatest work and contribution. The civil code shows just how much he cared for his subjects, unlike some of his predecessors. Like Louis XVI.
I've come on the most urgent of business. It is said that the people are revolting.
Who said it? They stink on ice.
No, Your Majesty, this is a very serious problem. The peasants feel you have no regard for them.
What? I have no regard for the peasants. They are my people. I am their sovereign. I love them. Pull! Drifting to the left.
As for Napoleon being portrayed as starting wars, most of the wars he was involved in were actually defensive. The old monarchies of Europe feared the spread of the ideas of the French Revolution, which Napoleon's government embodied, and consequently declared war on him. But Napoleon desired peace, and even in victory he would be generous to his fallen enemies.
And what will you demand from them?
I can't demand anything.
Anything. You're the master.
Good. Then I demand peace.
Peace. That's all you want. How magnanimous. Your modesty will certainly come as a very pleasant surprise to both the Emperor of Austria and the Tsar Alexander.
Most of Napoleon's critics are quick to point out that he censored the press, accepted the title of emperor, and removed power from elected officials in the national government. All these would seem to be the actions of a power-crazed tyrant. While these charges against Napoleon are true, they need to be placed in the proper context. Napoleon's censorship of the press was in part due to fears of dissenting views sparking new revolution and chaos in France. Napoleon's censorship is hardly unique, considering that most countries in Europe still censored their press. Napoleon's removing of power from Republican bodies of government was likely motivated by the memory of the chaotic, corrupt, and inefficient councils and directories of the French Revolution. Napoleon's coronation as emperor was likely done in part to try and ease tensions with the old monarchies of Europe. Countries such as Great Britain, Austria, Prussia, and Russia were reproachful of the republican governments of the Revolution and had refused to accept their legitimacy. Also, Napoleon became emperor with the near-unanimous consent of the French people.
Results of the plebiscite. A total victory. No one could deny that the French people want you as their emperor.
One must compare Napoleon to other rulers of the time, and not hold him to modern standards. One such ruler to compare him to would be King George III.
Place we mustn't mention. The colonies.
They're now called the United States, sir.
Are they? Goodness me. The United States.
At the time of Napoleon's reign, there was far more inequality in other European kingdoms. Serfdom, feudal privileges, and limited rights for peasants were present in much of Europe. Popular misconceptions and myths are very prevalent in our world today, especially given the ubiquity of the press. Ideas, events, and people are often misunderstood, or most people only have an overly simplified version of them. The popular misconception about Napoleon is an example of how a myth can develop and be taken for fact by most people. This shows that people, especially in today's information age, need to be careful about what they believe. Because today there are plenty of things that one shouldn't believe.